Hey everybody, what's up? We are here with a timeless reading. The deck that I'm using is called the Fountain Tarot. We're starting off with 3 of Cups and 5 of Cups. This can be missing a sense of connection. This can also feel like it can be missing connection. It can be feeling like something didn't go as expected. We can look at this zoomed in. We can look at this zoomed out. From a zoomed in perspective, 3 of Cups can maybe be like I had high hopes for this. I thought that this interaction would go a certain way and that there would be a certain feeling there too. But then 5 of Cups can be like, I feel like it didn't go that way and it was a missed opportunity, or it didn't really meet my expectations. From a more zoomed out perspective, there can be a time that you're sort of looking back on and you can be reminiscing and you can sort of be missing the feeling too. So you can feel like there was the 3 of Cups, that was something there, that was something that was available to me, that was something that I could connect with. What 3 of Cups can be a time of connection. It can be somebody that you would connect with. It would be like a relationship where you felt like that person really understood you. You really got each other. It's like you had the same sense of humor. It can be things like that. That 5 of Cups can feel like I don't have access to that right now and I'm really missing it and I'm really thinking about it. So this is feeling very nostalgic to me. When we have 5 of Cups, it's a time where we can feel like maybe in conflict about this. Just because that was then, this is now. You can feel like there's distance between that and where you are currently. And then we also have King of Pentacles. So this can be you over here focusing on your responsibilities and sort of keeping things level and keeping things stable within your life. Maybe there's more of a focus on practical things and less of a focus on emotional things. Maybe there's a desire to connect emotionally, but what you've been focusing on is more practical stuff, or this can be work things, it can be responsibilities, finances for some of you, things having to do with resources, the upkeep of things, all of the stuff that you have to do. So you can say, on one hand, I am feeling like things are going okay, or that at least things feel stable for me resource-wise. But as far as what's going on emotionally, you can feel like you're missing or lacking that sense of connection. This can also be a feeling that you're missing as well, too. Or like a period within your life. But it definitely feels like something that was. This doesn't feel like it's occurring right now. There's some type of distance or space between that and where you are currently. That's definitely apparent. And I do feel like you have reasons for doing this. This feels like, well, I had to focus on this stuff over here. Because King of Pentacles is that part of you where it's like you have tasks that you need to get done, or you have things that you need to do that you have to put your energy into. And so there are like gains that you get essentially from doing that, or maybe a lack of loss even that you get from doing that. And at the same time, you can feel like maybe it's not feeding you on a spiritual level or on an emotional level, or like socially, right? Socially, emotionally, spiritually, interpersonally. But it can also, I don't think that the 3 of Cups has to be though about other people. It can be a feeling of connection where there's a mutual embrace that's happening, and maybe you feel like you're somewhere where you're getting things done, but you can be like lacking that like sense of community maybe, or at least like having that right at your fingertips. It can feel like that you don't have that immediately, like within your immediate vicinity. And so because of that, you can be thinking about times when that was happening. So this can be pulling up a lot of memories for you, a lot of thinking about those things, or it can be, I remember when things were really good, or I had that sense of connection. And even though I'm seeing other things that feel like they're developing within your life, you can be thinking back to that, and it can be something that you're missing. I get that feeling heavily. Some of you can be feeling kind of lonely too. Alone, lonely. Justice and Two of Cups. Yeah, this can feel like a relationship that was lost in some way, or it's not the same. And you can be missing that feeling for sure. I do feel like something may have gone down. Having justice here can bring up topics of like what people feel is right and what people feel like is wrong socially. And so something connected with that can definitely be a topic here at play. This can also be relationship stuff in general, of like what feels harmonious within a dynamic versus what doesn't, what sort of goes with the rules, what goes against the rules. There can be a focus on balance too. Justice can bring up our one-on-one relationships as well, our partnerships, our friendships. I feel too like you're working on connecting with what feels important to you. I was seeing Magician wanting to come out. Maybe there was something in a sense that you were thinking, like, if things come together here, we can maybe like have an idea of something that we can create together, but it feels like it just actually turned into tension instead. So there may have been a like, let's communicate and maybe get on the same page here, or yeah, something of that nature. So things can feel like they're, I think, level. It looks though like what happened was something could have turned in from the potential of what could unfold into something just feeling extremely taxing, to the point even where there could be a feeling of a need for support. I feel too, even with, so Four of Pentacles can be sort of keeping things where they are, but having 10 of Wands below it can feel like it takes maximum effort for stuff to just stay where it is. And it can feel like an imbalance there. It feels like more effort needs to be put in just for things to stay the same. Maximum effort has to be put in just for things to stay the same. So it feels like there's not even room for things to like get better. And it even feels like connecting can become stressful, or it can become taxing. That can be something too. Like it turns into work is kind of what it feels like, when it's meant to be more like leisurely, or it's meant to be something that feels fruitful or something that feels nourishing to the soul. When over here I'm just seeing a like feeling kind of gassed out actually. I feel too like there could have been an opportunity. Maybe there's looking at something and saying that there's a desire for things to be better, maybe feeling like you want them to be better like they were at one point in time. It may not be feeling like that now, figuring out possibly how to make that happen. This kind of even resting on you. I'm seeing King of Pentacles, which can be earth energy, and I'm also seeing Justice, which is connected with Libra. I feel almost like something isn't fully adding up. When I see Three of Cups and I see Justice, that's giving one feeling of like there being a reconciliation of some sort. And when I see King of Pentacles and I see Four of Wands, I'd say this is somebody that's like learning how to keep the balance and even learning how to establish normalcy, foundation, things feeling regulated. They're being teamwork, they're being working together. But then in between, we have Five of Cups and Two of Cups, which is feeling like a loss of connection of some sort. And then seeing that Four of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands feels like maximum effort just for something to stay the same, or maximum effort just to keep something stable. But that if maximum effort wasn't being put in, maybe it would deteriorate, and maximum effort is put in, but it doesn't increase or get better. And so it feels like there are a lot of different things that are going on here. I looked up and saw 11:44 on the time. And I'm also seeing Five of Swords on the bottom of the deck, which feels kind of like something is a problem. Something is still being worked out. It definitely isn't settled. And so this will feel like a mental itch that hasn't been scratched, that's there, and it can be felt, and it can feel very irritating. I wonder too if in some ways like things are going okay, but you can also feel very spent, like that so much work has to be done. You have to do so much here, and you can be feeling like you don't really know how much you have left to give, because I'd say King of Pentacles and Ten of Wands would be somebody feeling like they have so much responsibility and that they have so many things that require their attention and so many things that require their energy and their focus and their presence, and that it's not just about showing up and doing something, like you have to fully be there. It feels like there's a lot of that going on, to the point where one can feel like they're maybe beyond their threshold for showing up in that way. This feels like responsible for this, responsible for that. I have to show up here. And this can be like a lot of roles that one takes on within their life that feel like they just require a lot of energy. They can require a lot of resources. It can be like this takes up a lot of time. This takes up a lot of focus. It takes up a lot of energy. This takes up a lot of concentration. This takes up a lot of effort. And we only have so much here in 3D anyway, which is where this is happening. King of Pentacles. And then having Justice and having Five of Cups feels like maybe even having the ability to make things right, but then Five of Cups feels almost like is that really what's being done? Because Justice almost feels to me kind of like, okay, here's your chance at redemption, and Five of Cups feels like, wow, you blew it again. It kind of feels like this to me. And so I'm wondering if there's a like left wanting feeling of that, of like here you are, do something, I'm expecting something, and then that Five of Cups feels like, wow, I'm disappointed again, or wow, you let me down again, or wow, like you really had a chance, an opportunity to make things right, and like once again something fell through. It feels like that. And this can also be too like relationship disappointments that we can feel, or like the faith that we have in a system that we feel like is failing us. And having justice be there, I feel like this is that possibility that that things can be made right, that the system is not going to fail, and then it does. That Five of Cups is feeling like I had expectations that something was going to happen here, and that's not what happened. I'm left knowing that that's an issue. And I think too, from the mindset of like, I know how things could be, and this was a chance for that to happen, and that's not what happened. It's interesting though, because I feel like King of Pentacles almost feels like they're doing everything that they possibly could here. And that may even be the responsible party. This can be somebody that you're looking to and saying like, here's your shot, don't mess it up. Like you can really correct things here. Then that doesn't happen, and you can be left in the wake of that. And then the person on the end that was like supposed to be showing up, they can feel like they're already doing everything that they possibly could be doing, and it still like isn't really enough, is kind of the feeling of this. And this can be throwing off the balance. And I almost get this thing of like everybody sort of being at their limits here. That can be the feeling. And it still feels like there are things that are unresolved. It still feels like what needed to happen didn't happen. And so there's still a problem here. And this is challenging too, because it almost feels like this Two of Cups can't be separated. They have to find balance. And it's feeling like in order to balance things, it's taking more effort or more energy than one really has maybe at this point. That can be the feeling anyway. And so it can feel like it's taking so much work for things to come together, so much work to get on the same page, so much work to feel like, is this working for everybody? And the answer is yes, and it's true. And it can feel even like something is stuck, like something isn't moving, like something isn't happening, and we need something to happen here, can be the feeling. Yet it's still just like, that's what I get. I feel too like somebody feels like they've been the one that like has not been benefiting by this happening, and that they can actually feel like because of this imbalance, they get stuck with a lot of the work here, and they can be at a point where they can feel like maybe not able to do more than that. And then what happens then? Like something may even possibly deteriorate at this point. It's either like something's gonna have to happen, which I feel like is even outside of one's control here, the person that's the King of Pentacles, or something's gonna happen where it's like Four of Pentacles is gonna have to move. Like there's gonna have to be something that happens with that. If that is not the case, if that doesn't happen, I feel like this whole thing may dematerialize, because this cannot be sustained. Because it feels like at this point, pouring water, which is a limited resource for the sake of this reading, into a sink that has the drain open and that it just keeps going through, and it's like water's about to run out, And if that stays, it just continuing to pour through rather than to fill up, it's like it's either going to have to, something's going to have to slide over so the sink can start filling up, or we're just going to run out of water. So either way, something's going to have to happen here, because it can't be like this anymore, because we're about to run out of water. And that water being the energy that's allowing this cycle to continue. More accurately, the fire of this, like the fire is about to go out. So it's like the wind is going to have to stop and like become helpful to the fire, or it's just going to blow it out completely. But something is going to happen either way. And so it feels almost like being at that tipping point. And I feel like the person that's pouring, like it's not really up to them. It feels like they're already doing everything that they can be doing. Something else is going to have to happen. And I do feel like it's like beyond their control, outside of their control. Let's see, is there anything at all that the King of Pentacles can be doing here? Working with the mind. I'm seeing Eight of Swords. This can be a reminder that when we get stuck and when we start overthinking, that it's not helpful for this situation. So first and foremost, there can be a working with the mind, that being the first thing. So there can be movement mentally where it's getting stuck. Yeah, I'm seeing this thing again. It's like let's say that we have A and B and they're in a partnership. A and B are supposed to work together and they have to keep something balanced, but both of them have to be there in order to keep it balanced, okay? So it's something that will like tilt on either side, and it feels like one of these parties is not holding up their end, and so like the other party basically is like doing the work, like too much work, and there's only a limited amount of strength. And so the whole thing, it's like either that party that's been kind of absent needs to like show up and do something here so this structure can continue, or so this relationship can continue, or the whole thing is going to topple over, is what's going to happen. It's that sentiment of like if you have like a fence and you have a really big rock that's on the fence and you hold up your end and the other party holds up their end, if they stop holding up their end, have you ever tried like walking upstairs with something heavy with another person? It's like everybody has to do their job, because if that person that's pushing on the bottom end of things stops, it's like you can't really hold on to it and be pulling it at the same time. If it's something that's like beyond your capacity to be doing that, you can maybe like keep it frozen for a little bit so that it's not falling back down the stairs, but like you need that other party to be doing their part in things. And this feels like that moment of like holding on to it, knowing that that other party isn't doing what they need to be doing, and they can either step in and do it and then you'll be able to get it up the stairs, or everything's gonna fall down the stairs and the whole thing is gonna crash. And it's one of those moments that I'm seeing here. And it's like, this isn't just an individual thing, this is a relationship. It's not like a one-man job to be taking the thing up the stairs. It requires a relationship, it requires a partnership for this to be happening. And so if that partnership is not happening, the whole thing is gonna collapse. And I feel like things have already progressed. So it's like, you know, when the relationship works together, you can get up the stairs, like it works, but the actual relationship needs to be working. And I also don't understand, like, I don't know why there's the absence here. I don't know why, like, one of the parties is not showing up. I don't know when that stopped happening. I don't know why they aren't showing up, but I'm seeing that there's something missing here. It's like a person that's missing here that's supposed to be here energetically. And so it's just been, all of this weight has been falling on one person, and they can't do this alone. This is not the type of job that can be done just individually. There are lots of things that can be done individually, but this is not one of those things. This requires the buddy system here. And one of the buddies is missing. And it feels too like progress has already been made, and so when one of the buddies disappears, King of Pentacles is kind of like frozen, holding on, like doing everything that they can so the whole thing doesn't slide down, but they can't go anywhere with it. That's what the Four of Pentacles looks like to me, like everything just to keep it in place. And being stuck there, but you know that like time is gonna run out if it just stays like that, so something is gonna happen. I get this sense that because of being in that position of that anxiety of being sort of stuck on the stairs and trying to hold on to everything so it doesn't collapse, and like being in that spot where it's like maybe all that can be thought about is just like hold on, hold on, hold on. I feel like because of that we're like not processing as one normally would, and it feels like it's possibly like not allowing something to fully be seen here. And so there can be a bit of a block. And it even feels like in a way this block may possibly like take away some type of choice. Well, not take away, I think like get in the way of seeing that. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.